Matthew Vaughn is one of the more celebrated directors in our day and age. But for a while, Matthew Vaughn kind of seemed like he was stuck in the Kingsman world. You know, he was doing the Kingsman Golden Circle, then he came back into The Kingsman. A lot of Kingsman going on for Matthew Vaughn. He's finally stepping out of that world. He's got a new original with Argyle coming out next weekend. And so he sat down with Collider, and Collider was kind of asking, hey, like, what's the future for Matthew Vaughn look like? And Matthew Vaughn hinted, he didn't just hint, he basically flat out said his future has Kick-Ass in it. Here's what he had to say to Collider, because it's happening, guys. Kick-Ass 3 is in the works. We're halfway through it. There's a very, very, dare I say it, and it's going to be a cliche coming out of this head of mine. It is a very, very meta universe. It is what, Kick-Ass was reinventing and creating an R-rated superhero, and no one was really doing it. This is taking that whole concept to a worthy, not even a sequel, because I think it's just a whole new way of doing Kick-Ass, which couldn't be more Kick-Ass. All right, so before we get on to the second part of his quote, let's talk about this, the fact that we're getting Kick-Ass 3. I think this is great. I will be honest, I was late to the Kick-Ass fandom. I've only seen the first one, and I only saw the first one like for the first time maybe a few months ago. I haven't gotten around to seeing the second one, but I really liked that Kick-Ass. It was kind of a parody movie. It really played off of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man tropes in some ways. It was grounded in reality for the most part. I thought they did a really great job with the first Kick-Ass movie, and to hear him say that, we're going to go a whole meta way with Kick-Ass, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I can definitely tell it's probably going to be pretty creative and probably pretty original, which is something, Kick-Ass may just be what the superhero genre needs nowadays, something original and something just flat out bonkers. But he doesn't just stop there, guys. He goes on to say in this quote that he's not just looking to do Kick-Ass 3, he may be looking at doing a whole Kick-Ass cinematic universe. So let's look at the second quote. He goes on to say, Vaughn didn't stop there either. He also decided to tell Collider that the new Kick-Ass will be the third entry in a trilogy that starts with School Fight, an action movie produced by him and helmed by stunt coordinator turned director Damian Walters. Vaughn stated, the trilogy will be a school fight, this movie, let's call it Ram for the time being, and then Kick-Ass, and they'll all be connected. Some background, School Fight was already shot and is done, and Ram is currently being filmed. In fact, Vaughn was wearing a jacket with the logo during the interview. All right, so let me just read that again. The trilogy is not going to be Kick-Ass 1, 2, and 3, apparently. It's going to be School Fight, this movie called Ram, and then Kick-Ass. So he kind of basically confirms without saying officially, we're getting a Kick-Ass cinematic universe. We are going to explore the world of Kick-Ass. We're going to go into different corners, and I can totally see how that could work. Because Kick-Ass, when you get this kid who's inspired by a comic book to be a superhero, a real-life superhero, and then his heroic actions convince and inspire other people to put on costumes and act like a superhero in real life, I can see this world being ripe for a cinematic universe where you go to other high schools, you go to other places where teenagers are looking at Kick-Ass and are going, I'm going to be my school's Kick-Ass. And then you got a whole new buildup of all these average people just trying to be superheroes. And another thing that I think is really smart about this is when Kick-Ass came out, we were in the fleshlings of a cinematic universe comic book genre. We weren't exactly there yet. And now we are just drenched in cinematic universes. Every comic book universe has to have a cinematic universe. Everything has to cross over. And people are starting to get, dare I say, fed up with it. Dare I say, a little tired of it. The numbers are dwindling in the cinematic universe with the superheroes especially. But Kick-Ass comes along, and like the first movie, as it kind of parodied the superhero movies of old with the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans and whatnot, you take Kick-Ass and you parody all these cinematic universes that we got going on by doing its own farce of a cinematic universe. There's something about that idea, especially with Kick-Ass, especially within the Kick-Ass universe, that I think is brilliant. I think is a really smart direction to take this franchise. And I don't know if they're gonna get the original cast back. I mean, Chloe Grace Moretz as Hit Girl. Is she too old now to play Hit Girl? I don't know. Probably not. It'd be probably fun to see her come back. It'd be fun to see all these guys come back. But I don't know, guys. I think that this, ironically, could be what reignites people's love for cinematic universe. It could be something different. It could be something brand new, original, never seen it before. A comedic superhero cinematic universe in the form of Kick-Ass. I'm all for it, guys. Well, thank you very much for checking out this clip from our live show that we do every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called Zach Milne Talks Live. If you like talking movies, if you like talking movie news, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave? We do that on this channel all the time. But if you still need some time before you fully commit, you can check out the full video this clip is from right here, and you can check out another video over here. The subscribe button's right here.